Defiont on digital assets and sound money and the whole ecosystem that is the Internet of Value.
Hi, everyone. Hi from London. So today we're talking about how to be your own bank with XRP and DAOs. For me, this is a particularly topical, especially today, because 7 Russian banks have been disconnected from SWIFT, a messaging system that enables bank transactions.
So now, as we've seen this through the QE and printing and this kind of global war where we're kicking on countries out of the payment rail, there's really no better time than ever to discuss what we are talking about. The notion of a digital wallet is more important. And when you think about a bank, the main key, features of what is required, a secure custodial of assets, being, able to borrow and lend, possibly save and earn some interest on your deposit, as well as use your currency in which to trade and pay bills. So all of these things individually exist. But because we're still inside a banking system, we have not defaulted yet into this world that we're talking about. And what I can see with the advent and the adoption and the utility of this blockchain payment rail, specifically the XRP Ledger, is the ability for one to be their own bank.
What we're looking at is you have zero control if you're holding it in those certain areas, and what the XRPL and being your own bank and the DAO kind of setup will help is that you can decide how your money is used, when it's used, how you earn interest. You're not reliant on them using your savings to go and hedge in some weird stock somewhere, or that gets shut down or cut off or sanctioned, as people are finding out with certain pensions. So when we're looking at this, that was a major catalyst, I think, for us, wasn't it, to deeper dive over the last couple of years really seriously in how we can effectively help people not be so vulnerable to a system where you have no control.
Rail, but for basic function, being able to secure your assets, holding your own private keys. I mean, for example, most people don't know what that means. But when you put your money in a bank, you assume that money is secure. If we went around telling people how these banks really operate, no one would put their money in the bank. Now, before the Ethereum maximalists get crazy, I want to explain that, the advent of this technology, sustainability, the eco-friendly, a scalable technology like the XRP Ledger actually circumvents and solves a lot of the problems that are currently, one of the biggest hindrances of the Web3 innovation. When this XRP Ledger gets launched and takes off, I mean, there's no stopping what can be built on it. And how it can be used. Because a lot of those hangups within the Ethereum blockchain go away with the advent of XRP. Now it's new, it's still not something that is, we see the metaverse and we see Shibaverse, everyone's building their own DAO on their, internal token. But I think this is the real game changer about XRP, is that ledger and that interledger protocol that connects all the rails of payments. So whatever currency you're paying for, it doesn't matter. And whoever your customers, whatever they're using, can automatically be exchanged and settled. And you have no more wait time, no more payment transferring time. All this traditional hangups within the traditional banking system become obliterated on blockchain. Server costs get taken away. A lot of the hangups within small businesses of securing data get completely innovated on a DAO, because everything on a DAO is built on blockchain and verified and entrusted on blockchain.
Well, for me, Ripple is the Google of the blockchain world. It's first, it's foremost, and Ripple has been going for the top for all the money. I know we joke about it, but that's literally how they've been pitching for their whole existence. You know, it's not that they dismiss us as retail in any form. They're a great company and they connect. I've never, you know, as creators and people, you know, on Twitter, you can get hold of all of them and they're really interactive and engaging. But their ultimate aim is top of the tree when it comes to, you know, to payment rails. And so for me, with the clarity, you know, even if it goes the other way and it is deemed as security, it's going to be the first current, you know, cryptocurrency with any form of stamped clarity in the space, and everything is going to be benchmarked against it in whichever way it goes. You know, with, you know, hopefully it won't be deemed as a security, or they'll get a slap on the wrist, it was, and move on. But yeah, they're going for the top. So when it comes to competition, after a decade, there's nothing on its tails now. What's kind of coming up alongside it, and it's great for the whole crypto space. You know, I know we go on about XRP, but we are massive for the whole crypto space.
So one of the things I always get is, you know, about the security, feeling like once we enter this blockchain space, everything open sourced means you have no more privacy. That is a false myth. Actually, just like XRP, you know, public ledger, building a private ledger with a software, companies will be able to pick and choose what they want on blockchain. And if there are R&D or special files that the company wants to, you know, proprietary patent information, for example, those are held offline on servers. But, you know, we have to start understanding how the internet is evolving. When they talk about Internet of Things and being built on the browser, guys, this is when we start seeing the adoption of those digital wallets and the trading of tokens becoming the best line of defense. This is your right to bear arms, not at all what people normally assume when you are, you know, having a digital ID online. You know, and those of you who understand what I'm saying, understand that we, the people, get to decide how the application layer is built, which biometrics get used and added onto these payment layers, because, you know, using blockchain is not synonymous with creepy biometric payment plans. Okay, you don't need to use your eyeball to make payments. The idea that someone gets to turn off your digital wallet, what? No, never. They do that now. This is the system that we're trying to break out of. We are looking into a system that the people control your own keys. That means when you turn it into a bank, maybe you're turning it into for XYZ other, you know, wealth features, but you yourself get to hold your own digital keys. Most of the banks communicate with just a glorified messaging system called SWIFT. SWIFT has notoriously been insecure. I don't care who says it. It is always hacked. Now, no, you're not going to hear about it. Banks don't want you to know about it. I mean, understandably so. Now, this isn't to get in a competition, you know, on SWIFT lovers, but the idea that XRP could be denominated with a global, you know, as the global currency backed by a precious metal, and use that interledger protocol to connect all different payment rails. So we are no longer picking and choosing who's more valuable in the transaction space, who gets to have an account versus who doesn't, which country do we like versus, I mean, no, forget all that. Everybody's connected on blockchain because it's open source and everybody has access to it. Yeah, well, this is what makes XRP so special, because I mean, the amazing voices in this space, digital asset investor James Rule, I mean, always an applause for you. I mean, I so love your videos, but, you know, and then Bradley Kimes. I mean, these guys have really been the voices, the authors, you know, piecing all of this together, who we've followed along, you know, with all of them over the last few years, seeing this develop, remembering those banking videos, remembering how, you know, the IMF, and suddenly when you know, being gold buffs that like we are, I mean, we're into metals. So when we saw the kind of silver squeeze, potential collapse, you know, there's all kinds of different variables, and you think, wait a minute, this is it. This is how they're going to address the liquidity crisis. things are changing and building every single day. You know, like we're talking about building our own bank. Who, you know, by the time this probably happens, who the hell will be thinking about banks? They'll be extinct. You know, we'll be, you know, building product like locally growing, you know, organizations, you know, through blockchain, and being able to connect payments and move fluidity through these payment rails in ways we've never done before. There's lots of different ways that we can do, and we don't even need a bank.
How do you believe that politics and government, especially the financial arm of the governments, are going to react to this 6 months from today?
If we look at what's called BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and their coalition, they've been working on and developing their own payment rails between themselves and testing since 2018. You'll see a lot on the news where everybody says they're not ready, they won't be able to do anything this quickly, it takes years of innovation. They've been innovating. And if anybody's been watching, especially potentially the Olympics, the Chinese yuan was used as their CBDC live testing with multiple nationalities coming in, using their app, using their money. It was fully programmable. There were certain shops you were able to use it in. It had a certain time frame to use it, and they weren't able to take it away. They had to use it before the end of the time. So these tests have been going on for a long time. And
I think, you know, I think more than, you know, Jerome finally joins the party and says we can have more than one global currency. Yeah, no, hello. So we're going to see more and more of this kind of movement towards, and guys, you know, please remember that government does not announce things until they're already done with them. You know, by the time they hear about, you know, by the reason we're hearing about this now is because they are, you know, getting up ready to, you know, flip that switch whenever it happens. Because I mean, there's, like I said, now to quote James and Bradley, you know, all these great voices of the XRP space, but you know, we've been saying this for years. I mean, we've been watching the kind of dot connecting of all of these guys, you know, together, and we're just, you know, last year was like, oh, that will never happen, there'll be no, you know, but never mind the QE spending. And then when we look at how the global spending across the board within the SDR specifically, you know, that's debasing all global currencies, how are we supposed to recover from this? We won't. We're just going to flip. Because I believe, you know, a year ago I published a piece, you know, lockdowns were not about a virus, but you know, and how this is all orchestrated up to a financial flip, you know, collapse, and then move into the blockchain. So we do talk about this, and you know, I get a lot of people don't like that I'm very open and vocal about XRP, but I mean, once you understand, you know, basic principles of money versus currency and how the SDR works and the global payments, biz, international bank of settlements, all of this makes sense, and it comes back to one global currency. And that's why XRP is taking kind of the forefronts. And XRP can be what it was meant to be, all the money. We're going to see, you know, apps and APIs and all kinds of integrations that are going to go 10 times faster.
In 1994, 95% of our business came from that dial-in system. In 1995, 95% of our business came from the internet. We're in a stage with blockchain that's like 1995. You know, it takes a while for things to be accepted, and once they are, it goes at the speed of light. So what you've seen over the last 2 years, forget about over the next year. I mean, this is what we're going to be talking about is going to be totally different. It's going to be in reverse. Blockchain will be taking over. It's already there. I mean, it's already mainstream, and now it's about adoption. We're really looking forward to all that here at LinkedIn. So thank you guys both. It was a really exciting topic. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.